The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our UBA Gap webinar today. My name is Christy Saul, and I am Vice President of Marketing for URL Insurance Group's Individual and Group Ancillary Products Division. I always say that's a really big mouthful. Deb Wilkins and I kind of split the health department because we do have so many carriers. The products that I kind of head up include gap plans, like we're going to be going over today, accident plans, disability, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and all the individual side and the group side as well. So if you work in the group market with voluntary products or, group STD, LTD, life, that kind of thing, we can be an outlet for you on those as well. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time because I do have Ryan Morgan from UBA on the line who's going to be going through the presentation today. He's the expert on the plan. It's relatively new to us. But for those of you who are new to URL, and I did see a lot of new names, I'd like to spend just a few minutes letting you know who we are and what we do. A lot of times, a new agent will get a webinar invite from one of our department heads and think, oh, well, this is just a life carrier, or this is just a gap carrier. And we're not. We are actually a family-owned full-service brokerage firm. We've been in business for close to 30 years, and we have very distinct divisions here at URL to include individual and group health, ancillary products, as I had mentioned, senior care products, life, and annuities. So we do everything here except for property and casualty, and we are general agents, FMOs, IMOs, whatever you want to call it. They're called things with hundreds of insurance carriers, and we are nationwide. We are located in central Pennsylvania, but we do have agents and general agencies and agencies that write with us in all 50 states. So we are licensed in all states. So if you haven't worked with us before, I do encourage you to reach out to any one of our departments for quotes or just general information on what we can offer you. We do like to give back to our agent partners. We do training on a weekly basis in every different division, webinars, we do in-house seminars. We give back with discounted E&O insurance. And every piece of business you write with us has a point value, meaning you write a gap plan, or you write a final expense, or you write an annuity. And then we kind of put all those points into a pot at the end of the year, and we do yearly sales conferences, which is nice because I know a lot of the life carriers that we work with have great conferences. But if you're only writing that company, then maybe you'll qualify. But here, it doesn't make a difference what you write and which carrier. Again, it goes to a point value. And our trip in 2016 for a little commercial is to Grand Cayman Islands. So I'm excited about that. This is our website right here. It is urlinsgroup.com. I will in a minute pop up a login for those of you who don't have a login, but there's a lot of great information. It goes through all of our departments, for example, who we are. You could meet our staff, and it would go down to all of our staff members in the life department. If you needed a quote, you would know who to reach out to. And you can access this 24/7. For example, my brother Steve heads up our life market department, and there he is, and this would be all of our life reps. There's online applications, information on our lead programs, marketing tools, quoting tools. Again, just a lot of information in each of our different divisions. So I encourage you to check out our website because, again, we are more than just one product. And to give you information on, you probably all have my email address because you got the invite, but this is my information right here. My direct extension is 131. You should all have my email address. Again, this is our web address, and you will need a user ID and password to access that. The user ID is Grand, and the password is Cayman, and I wonder who came up with that. So that is our website. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But on the phone with me today is Ryan Morgan, who is a sales representative for UBA. Ryan will be presenting the product for us today. Everyone is muted on the call, so we don't have disturbances. A lot of times we'll hear dogs barking and people yelling, so we like you to kind of take in all the information. But feel free to type in your questions, and we will cover them at the end of the webinar. I think the UBA GAP product and products like this are really going to take off. I have seen huge increased production in all types of gap plans, especially those that cover telemedicine, which I think is the wave of the future, and critical illness. We all know the increasing deductibles due to the ACA. Your clients will really be in need of plans like this to help them bridge the gap with those higher deductibles. And let's face it, no one's going to blow through a $5,000 or $6,000 deductible with a common cold, a flu. It's either going to be expenses due to an accident or something catastrophic like a heart attack, stroke, or cancer. So again, you really want to protect your client's vested interest and get them covered and cover that deductible. Well, I do not want to steal Ryan's thunder, so I'm going to hand the presentation over to him. And Ryan, you should have something pop up that you accept, and then we should hopefully see your screen.
All right,
There we go.
absolutely. I just accepted. Okay, great. So, again, I'm Ryan Morgan. I'm with UBA Insurance here in Texas, and thank you, Christy, for the introduction. I'd like to welcome all of you to the call today and say thank you for being here with us today. This won't be a long training. Our insurance program is simple, so likewise this webinar will also be simple. So before we go through the slide presentation, a little bit about us. Our association was started in 1990, and we began direct sales of it in 2010. We roughly have 30,000 members on the program right now. It's an association-based program, so since it has a group chassis, it allows us to be more efficient, and it also allows us to be more economical as well. So in essence, we're offering all the advantages of a group-based platform to individuals. So what we'll do now is we'll get started on the program. So the talking points for today, we're going to talk about the plans themselves. Then we'll talk about the application process and the administration. Then we'll talk about the website and some of the tools that are available as agent resources and to your end users and clients. And then, like Christy had mentioned at the outset, we'll go over some questions. So to begin, so we have a choice of membership plans. So the base plan is a fundamental plan. There are no insurance benefits. It's a value plan design, which we'll get into here in a moment. The second membership plan is a Gap Plus plan. So it's got a $5,000 accidental medical expense benefit, $2,500 AD&D benefit, and then you have critical illness insurance options. It's a lump sum of $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000. You've also got a $5,000 term life, and then you have all the fundamental plan benefits that are in the UBA fundamental plan. The Gap Max plan, it's a $10,000 accidental medical expense, and really that's the only change, along with the $5,000 AD&D. And again, your critical illness options on the Gap Max, $5,000, $10,000, or $20,000 lump sum benefit, $5,000 term life, and again, all the fundamental plan benefits. The Gap CI is no accident benefit, but it does have a $20,000 critical illness lump sum benefit, again, along with all the other fundamental plan benefits. And as you'll notice on the right side of the screen, you can add Carrington Dental Discount Plan. That's $5 a month for the family. So when we're talking about the membership benefits of the UBA fundamental, the main things that we want to focus our attention on are, number one, the call-in D. So that's where a member can call in. They can get diagnosed. They can get prescribed medication over the phone. The first 3 calls are free. Every call thereafter is $35. Free vitamins, prescription drug discount card, emergency roadside assistance, pet prescription, graduate scholarship program, and everything else that you see here that's listed. This is $10 a month for the entire family. And let's go into the next plan. This is our Gap CI. So think about all the benefits that we just talked about with UBA fundamental, especially the call-in-D and the prescription drug discount. On top of that, they're getting a $20,000 group critical illness benefit. So this is a lump sum that's paid for a first-time diagnosis of heart attack, cancer, or stroke. So this plan was released in May, and it is it's available in the following states that you see there. Issue ages are 18 to 64. And keep in mind that if the critical illness is diagnosed in the first year from the effective date, the member receives 10% of the benefit. So in other words, instead of $20,000, they'd get $2,000 first year. All right? So next we'll move on to GAP Plus. So as you see, the GAP Plus on the left and right, it depends on what state you're in. So the GAP Plus for the states listed on the left-hand side, again, you've got a $5,000 accident benefit, so that's based on actual expenses. The member would pay a $100 deductible per accident, and then again, this covers the next $5,000. $2,500 group accident AD&D. Again, you can choose 5, 10, or 20,000 group critical illness. You have a $5,000 term life, and that's on top of the UBA fundamental plan benefits. So on the right-hand side of the screen, for the states listed below, you'll notice one key difference at the bottom. That's that individual and family is the same rate. That's $45 a month. Whereas on the left, depending on what level they get, it would be a different individual or family rate. But in those NSL states, that's National Foundation Life, you have the $5,000 accident benefit, $2,500 AD&D, $5,000 critical illness, $5,000 term life, and the UBA fundamental plan benefits. GAP Max, here's the main difference. Again, you have a $10,000 group accident benefit with the same $100 deductible. And as you see, the states that it's available in below. And again, you can choose 5, 10, or 20,000 of group critical illness. That's on top of your $5,000 AD&D, $5,000 term life, and the UBA fundamental plan benefits. All right, so again, to kind of underscore the most used benefits that clients give us feedback about and where you're going to see the most value as an agent, the first 3 phone consultations on the CallMD are free. After that, it's a $35 copay per phone consultation. They get free vitamins. It's an online order form, no shipping costs. They can reorder. The accident benefit, again, that's based on actual expenses. It's an A-rated insurance carrier. Critical illness benefit, it's up until age 65. Again, it's pays 10% if they're diagnosed in the first year they have the policy. Term life benefit ends at age 65. And, of course, if we're doing the GAP Plus or GAP Max that has that, we'll need to collect the beneficiary for, information on the application. Prescription drug discount card. So they can use an online pharmacy locator tool and an RX discount pricing tool. And again, pet RX discount card and graduate scholarship. Now, moving forward, here are a few things that we provide you as an agent that really help you promote this and sell this effectively. First, we're going to provide you with a unique link with your agent code embedded into it. So what this means is that I'm Ryan, I have my own agent link, and I can share this link via email. I can share it on social media if I want. In other words, you as an agent, you have that capability to share that link with whoever you want. And someone can self-enroll using this link. So that's the first thing that's really unique about this. We have marketing flyers that you can personalize, marketing brochures you can personalize, and then the application of this is very easy. It's guaranteed issue, so this is probably one of the easiest application processes I've seen, and we'll elaborate that on here in a minute. So here's the application process. As you go through this, you're going to select your state. So depending on what state you're in, you'll enter that. Next step, you'll see this screen. So you simply select the plan that you want. And then if you want to add the Carrington Dental Discount Plan, you can do that at the bottom. Now, keep in mind, if you add the Carrington Dental Discount Plan, your client will receive 2 receipts on their email, not just 1. Now, the next step is the associate code. So hopefully you're using your unique agent website link. If for some reason you're not, you'll need to enter your associate code here to get credit for that business written. On the next screen, look at the top of the screen. As you're entering your client's information, if you do not see your name at the top of the screen, that means that the business is not tied to you. Make sure that you see your name there. So again, you can use your unique agent link or go back to the previous screen and enter it in manually. So everything you see here, this is what we require on the application. Very easy, very straightforward. And again, you'll notice at the bottom, if you do a plan that has the term life, you'll want to enter your beneficiary's data in at the bottom. Next screen is for dependents, so want to enter in their name, date of birth, their gender. Here's something very important. We'll need the correct Social Security numbers for the member and the member's spouse and the dependents. If for some reason, as a last resort, you absolutely can't get the children's Social Security numbers at the time of enrollment, it is a must that you call us and give us those children's Social Security numbers to avoid any issues moving forward. Okay? Just want to underscore that again. So socials, having the correct socials, not having dummy socials, please get that information correct the first time, and that will ensure that things move smoothly. All right, so this is one of the final steps. This is where we collect their payment information. So we'll either take a credit card authorization or an electronic funds transfer from a bank account. So you'll note on the right, if we do an electronic funds transfer, if the routing number doesn't have 9 digits or if the credit card doesn't have 16 digits, the application will reject. So if it's entered that way, the client will get the e-receipt, but the app won't be in the system. So please be sure to verify the payment information at the time of application. I can't underscore that enough. It's very important. One other thing to keep in mind is that when you're going through this application process, please do not hit the back button on your browser. All you want to use is the back button that's on the bottom of your screen. You want to click that instead. So on our next screen, this is a credit card method of payment. Again, we'll collect all of their data, and we're going to be with them in person, over the phone, or of course they can self-enroll. Bank draft method of payment, you have the same sort of information that is collected. Again, we want to make sure that the payment information is absolutely correct. Okay, so once we go through all those steps, here's the one of the final steps. We've got a confirmation page. We want to check out our personal information, our dependents' names if we have them, the plan that we chose, some payment information, and make sure the amount of the dues are correct. So in other words, if we chose a plan for $20 a month, let's verify it on this screen. Make sure everything's accurate before you hit the place order button, because once we hit that place order button, then that moves everything forward. So once we hit that, you see that the order has been placed, and this is the confirmation. So once this step happens, in real time, an email is sent to our prospect or client. So what's very important right now, maybe the most important step of this process, is that while the client is with us, while we're in contact with them, have them open their email during that conversation. They'll receive their e-receipt, and it's going to look like this. So this is actually what the email looks like. All they have to do is click where it says, please click here to verify your order. Once they've done that, then it's complete. The application process is complete, and that initiates the charge to their account, and thereafter, of course, that would mean commissions for us. Also, please encourage them to look at the download your benefits link. That is going to enable them to look at the specific benefits that they enrolled in. So here's some other useful tips just to sort of reiterate some of these different things. The place order button, please don't hit that more than once. You don't want them to get billed multiple times. Unique gap application link. Again, when you're going through this, make sure you see your name in the upper right-hand corner. You have to have that so you can get credit for the business written. If we don't have a client email address, just simply use noemail@noemail.com, and then that way it'll trigger our team to know that we need to verify it in another way. And of course, that's pretty rare. Spouse beneficiary information. If the spouse is on the application, it's going to ask us to verify the spouse beneficiary information. Full address, so apartment numbers, whatever that prospect or client's full address is, we want to make sure that we we want to make sure that we record every last bit of data. E-receipt. The e-receipt that comes to the client and to us as the agent, application@gapplusplan.com. That's where it comes from. If your client can't find it, ask them to look in their spam folder. And again, the verification link, when they open that email, they have to click verify order for us to process the application. That is an absolute must. So, and you'll notice at the bottom of this screen, if the business is entered on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we will draft that Friday after the same week as the Wednesday, our close of business. So in other words, any business that I write this week until close of business tomorrow, that will draft on Friday, and that would, and that's basically how that works. Now, the website. So the website from the member's point of view, they can find claims forms, EFT change forms, policy certifications, and more. Business networking, members who sign up for this can advertise their business for free in the networking section of the website. Latest news from UBA, we generate newsletters. They can look at old newsletters as well. Plan section. So they can view all of our plan options by state, so they can see the sample guides, detailed brochures, etc. Knowledge section, so you've got small business links, videos, news, etc., sort of a knowledge base for them to use. Benefit section. This section outlines the benefits of becoming a UBA member. Benefits tutor, that's a video on the members page. It's a visual demonstration of how our benefits work. Apply now link. So if the person uses that link again, make sure our associate code is entered so we can get credit as the agent. All right. So administrative items to note. Again, we have an online receipt to the client. They have to click the verification link. And then after they're enrolled, they want to check out their member guide so that they can understand, be educated, and feel good about their benefits. Agent e-receipt, we as the agent, we also get an email that shows that the order was placed. We verify the information before we draft the client's account. Remember what to do in rare events that we don't have an email address, noemail@noemail.com. Member ID cards and welcome letter, that's generated to the client and via the mail. We've talked about new business process week, and we've got an effective date scheduled as well, and that's on the members section of the website. With that said, let's open it up to questions. Do we have any questions in particular that we can address?
Yes, there are some questions that came through. One of the questions was, it is an individual plan, but could it be sold, could an employer pay for this for the employees, or could it be done maybe on a voluntary chassis where it could be payroll deducted or not?
Well, yeah, we have seen it work with success in employer environments, and here's how it's done, is that the the benefit would be paid for by the employer's account, and so that would be the employer's bank card account or bank account information, and then each individual employee would be entered separately. In terms of offering it as a contributory where the employee is paying a portion, or if we're doing payroll deduction, let me get a little bit of clarification around that with our payroll guru, and I'll let you know exactly how that works. So we'll circle back in the next 24 to 48 hours about that.
Yeah, great. Just let me know, and I have I have everybody's email address that was on the webinar, so I can let them know. Second question is about commissions, which we always get. As far as commissions go, you won't get paid for, no, I'm joking, you won't get paid for selling this. But contact me. You have my email address, because there's so many different, agents or agencies on the call. I really don't like to throw out commissions, but I can tell you they are better than health commissions have been. The commissions are nice. And just contact me, because if you have an agency, it might be a little bit different if you have downline agents. So we can go from there. And they're asking about advances. Ryan, do you guys advance commissions?
Yeah, we do have advances that are available. So here's what's important to know is on your Gap Plus and your Gap Max plans, those would be a 12-month advance for the first year commission. The Gap CI is different. So on the Gap CI, we would do a first-year advance of the first 9 months.
Okay. And a lot of commission questions. Do you know when you, I'm assuming you can direct deposit commissions, and how often are the agents paid? Is it once a month? Is it once a week?
Great question. Yeah, that would be once a week. So,
okay.
For example, let's say that I'm an agent and I write business through tomorrow night, through Wednesday night. So, provided that client's payment drafts out all right and everything goes through on that, I'll be paid next week on Friday via direct deposit.
Okay. Next question is, do all dental discounts start from day one of coverage?
That's a great question. On that one, that's typically not a heavily sold product, but I'm going to find the answer to that question, and we'll get some clarification around that. I just want to make it exactly sure.
I'll make a note of that as well. And I'm just taking little notes here quickly because I want to get back to the agents that asked specifically. Next question is there a monthly fee we are not commissioned on?
Is there a monthly fee that we're not commissioned on? The simple answer is no. Whatever program they select, it's built into the association fee. So Gap Plus or Gap Max, let's say it's $20 a month, $30 a month, whatever that is, that's what our commission is based on. So whatever the client is paying, that is what our commission is based on.
Great. Okay. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to read them out because I don't want to assume I know everything about the plan yet. Is there a startup cost to sell your services? I'm assuming no. I mean, I don't know. Maybe different states there's licensing fees, but I mean not to get their link and all that. I would assume. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So no startup fee. Next question is, oh, actually, I had a question because I missed what you said about the critical illness. What is the pre-X on that? Did you say a year or 2 years that they would only pay 10% of the amount?
Yeah, great question. That's a very good point. So the first 12 months that the client has the critical illness plan, if their benefit, whatever their benefit is, if the first diagnosis happens in the first 12 months, they're receiving 10%. So,
gotcha.
In other words, if I've got a $20,000 benefit, if I get diagnosed in the first 12 months, I'm receiving $2,000.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable. But I mean, but it's still guaranteed issue. So for example, I'm thinking of, um, somebody had prostate cancer 2 years ago, but going into the second year of the policy, if it came back, it would pay the full amount, correct?
Well, what's important to know there is that the benefit is a first diagnosis benefit. So if I've had
Oh,
cancer
okay.
before, yeah, there's a silver lining in this cloud. So if I've had cancer before, hey, I can still get this because it won't
Right.
cover me on cancer because I've already had my first diagnosis, but I do have the coverage for stroke and heart attack.
Okay. And are they, and I'm sorry, because I'm asking questions because I know I'll get them.
Yeah, no worries.
Are they the only three conditions covered? Would be heart attack, stroke, and cancer, or is anything else covered as well?
On the critical illness, it is just those three.
Okay. Okay. Just asking. And for anybody out there who is looking for, because I know the census, if you guys are looking for a critical illness plan that covers, more than three different, scenarios and goes for life, we do have other options out there as well. Next question is, I see that accidents and critical illness events are covered. What if I have an illness, not CI, such as a flu that lands me in the hospital? Do these GAP plans cover that? Also, are pregnancies covered? And go ahead. I know the answer to that, but go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. Under the umbrella of the accident and critical illness plans, it would have to be an accident or it would have to be a diagnosis of those three diseases. But let's remember something. The UBA fundamental that all plans include, I've got my $35, the first three calls are free with call MD. So I can call a doctor 24/7. I've got also a 24/7 nurse line that I can call for guidance and direction, plus I've got my prescription discounts and my lab discounts as well. So those are some outlying things that may help the person.
Yeah, and Christopher is the one who asked the question. Christopher, we have several GAP plans, and the GAP plans out there all kind of work the same way. It's going to cover accident. Unless it's a true group GAP plan, then we're getting into something else for groups to cover their medical. But the GAP plans, all of them I'm aware of is it's accident and then the critical illness. If you're looking for something that covers some hospital stays, give me a call, because then you might want to look at one of the lower end, like kind of indemnity plans that's going to cover. Some of them do cover pregnancy, and they get X amount of dollars when they're in the hospital. So there are plans out there like that as well. Any other questions? Let me see. That might be, there's one more. What are the effective dates? So for example, today is the 15th. If somebody had a client and they went on applied, could they get next day coverage or?
Yeah, we have, I guess the best answer to that is, Christy, what I'll do is I'll provide you there's an effective date chart, so it shows that if the business is written on a certain date, then this is when it's going to be effective. So it's probably the best reference for that, I think.
Okay. Let me see. Another question, which is a good question. As far as the critical illness, is that, so I go to my doctor and I'm diagnosed with breast cancer, or am I going to get paid that benefit upon diagnosis?
Okay, so here's how it works is that, again, provided that it is a first-time diagnosis, the information on the diagnosis, the written diagnosis, is transferred to UBA. After UBA receives it, they're roughly a 2-week or so turnaround time, and they'll issue the lump sum payment. So again, if it's the first year, it's 10%. If it's after the first year, they get the full $20,000 or whatever their benefit is.
Right. Well, that's a really good question, because, I don't know how many are still out there, but, I've run into, cancer plans or critical illness plans, and it's very important to ask that, because sometimes they make you save all the bills. Well, you need the money up front. You don't want to be going through chemo and saving your bills and then have like a reimbursement type thing. So, so that's good news. That's all the questions. Oh, hold on. Some of them keep popping in. Next question is, are there any medical questions for the critical illness guaranteed issue plans, and what are they?
Absolutely not. The application screens we went through, thankfully I know that many of us have seen application processes that are pretty detail intensive. This one isn't. We're simply collecting their demographic information on date of birth, gender, name, social, so no medical questions.
Okay. All right. That's all I see, but everybody out there, thank you for attending. Thank you, Ryan, a great presentation. And again, I think these kind of plans are really going to take off. I think they kind of have to, and they're priced so well, it really protects, our agents' clients. But you guys know where to find me if you have any questions. Sometimes I sit on webinars and I start thinking, and I think of something later. But you know where to find me. And you guys interested in contracting, again, shoot me an email, give me a call, I'll get it out to you. And thanks again, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Good.